All right, so today we're diving into a pretty radical idea. What if the real key to solving our biggest global problems isn't some new piece of tech, but a totally different kind of intelligence? An inner science that, for the most part, we've completely overlooked.
I mean, you feel this, right? We have these incredible tools at our fingertips. AI, genetic engineering, you name it. And yet, when you look at the really big stuff, climate change, political polarization, ecological collapse, it kind of feels like things are just getting worse. The argument we're exploring today is that maybe, just maybe, we've been searching for answers in completely the wrong place.
And this quote just cuts right to the heart of it. We have solutions. We know how to build solar panels. We know about sustainable farming. We know how to reduce waste. The problem, the real bottleneck, isn't a lack of information. It's a crisis of motivation. It's a crisis of our collective will.
And this is what some people are calling the metacrisis. The idea is that all these things we see as separate problems are actually just symptoms of one single deeper issue, a failure of our own inner development. You know, we're running around trying to fix the external world while totally ignoring the internal source of all the dysfunction.
So, what's stopping us from looking inward? Well, the argument is that we are collectively caught in a specific way of seeing the world, a worldview that actually discourages us from taking our own minds seriously.
And this is where we have to make a really critical distinction, one that's so often missed. On the one hand, you've got the scientific method. It's this powerful, humble, amazing way to investigate the physical world. But on the other hand, you have scientific materialism. And this is the key. That's not science. It's a philosophical belief that has kind of gotten tangled up and confused with science itself.
So this worldview basically says that the only thing that's truly real is matter, is physical stuff. Your thoughts, your feelings, your consciousness, oh, that's just a byproduct. It's just noise coming from the meat computer you have in your skull. But here's the kicker. That is not a scientific discovery. It is an unproven, philosophical assumption that we've just sort of absorbed from our culture. And the cost of that assumption is huge. It means our entire inner world, the very things that make up our actual lived experience, like our intentions, our values, our sense of meaning, all of that gets dismissed. It's treated as subjective, second-rate, not really real. We've become absolute experts at manipulating the outer world, while staying complete amateurs when it comes to understanding our inner one.
But what if there was another way? What if there was a rigorous, empirical tradition designed specifically to investigate the mind itself?
Well, in the classical Nalanda tradition of India, the most important field of study was called Atma Vidya, or inner science. And for over 1,000 years, this was treated as a serious, cumulative science. It had methods, it had training, it had standards of evidence. It was considered the foundational knowledge you needed to have to do anything else wisely.
And this inner science kicks off with a pretty radical claim. We don't just have 5 senses. Nope, we have 6.
This sixth mode, or sixth sense, is mental perception. It's the faculty of your own awareness that directly knows mental events. I mean, think about it. You don't see a thought with your eyes, you don't hear an emotion with your ears, you are just directly aware of them. This is a whole domain of reality that's totally invisible to our external instruments, but it's completely accessible to you, right now.
I mean, if you want proof, just think about your dreams. Every single night, you experience entire worlds, sights, sounds, complex stories, the whole shebang, all while your eyes are closed. There is zero sensory input from the outside world. That right there is direct proof of a purely mental perception at work.
But you know, simply knowing you have this sixth sense isn't really enough. To use it with any kind of precision, you need a very specific tool. And that tool is called samadhi. Now, this word might sound all mystical and out there, but it's actually incredibly practical. It just means a highly trained state of attention, a mind that is stable, that is focused, and that is free from all the usual background noise of distraction or that foggy feeling. It's a skill, and it's a skill that can be systematically trained.
The analogy here is simple, but it's so powerful. Trying to study your own mind without this kind of trained attention, well, it's like trying to do astronomy without a telescope. Sure, you might see a few bright spots in the sky, but you're going to miss all the detail, all the subtle patterns, and the deeper structure of what's really out there.
Right. Without it, our introspection is really just vague guesswork. We're distracted, we project our own biases onto everything, we get lost in our stories. But with a stable, high-resolution attention, we can start to see our inner world with genuine clarity. It's an absolute methodological necessity for any real inner science.
Which brings us right back to where we started, our global metacrisis. How in the world does any of this inner training help us solve urgent, real-world problems?
And that is a totally fair question. When we hear words like samadhi, it's so easy to think, okay, here we go, this is just another belief system. But the argument being made here is that it's the exact opposite of that.
This is why it's framed as an empirical project. You don't have to believe a single thing up front. Instead, it's an invitation to experiment, to observe your own experience, to train your mind, and then to judge the results based on a really practical question. Does this lead to less confusion and less harm in my life and in the world? That's the test.
And this leads to a really powerful, reframed definition of cognitive intelligence. It's not about being clever or having a high IQ, it's the practical wisdom to see the difference between what's actually happening out there and the stories, the judgments, and the assumptions that our minds are constantly layering on top of it.
And this, right here, is the core of it all. We can invent the most brilliant external solutions, but if those solutions are designed and implemented by minds that are riddled with unexamined fear, greed, and confusion, they will always, always be undermined. Our incredible technological power actually becomes self-destructive when it's not guided by inner clarity.
So ultimately, the challenge we're facing isn't just about what we invent, it's about the quality of mind from which we act. This suggests that developing a true empirical science of the mind isn't some kind of luxury. It might just be the most essential intelligence we need to navigate everything that's coming our way.